Welcome to Gadget First. Today we're reviewing the Samsung Wave. It's the first device to utilise the Gadget operating system made by Samsung themselves. It's also the first device to use a Super AMOLED display. This makes everything very bright and it makes colours the most realistic you'll ever see. Let's look at the home screen. Firstly, by default we have 3 home screens, which you slide through like this, in a similar fashion to Android. At the bottom we have the keypad, contacts list, and messages. We can also add widgets by tapping the widget button here, and then we can add a widget, for instance the Google search utility, and then we tap done, and by tapping and holding we can move this widget. And then to use this widget, I can type something into Google search, and then tap OK. It then opens the web browser, and there you have it. And by tapping this middle button, it brings up the Touchwiz Interface, very similar to the iPhone, where you can launch apps such as the camera, and by tapping the end call button it brings me back to the home screen. If I tap the call button, it brings up a list of all numbers that I've received calls from and made calls to. At the top is this status bar, which is very similar to Android in the sense that if I tap it, it brings down this easy to use switcher where I can switch on Wi-Fi by tapping it, and you can turn it on or off. I can turn off Bluetooth, or I can make the phone silent. And it also gives me notifications for emails and other text messages and general things like that. So now we're going to have a look at the core apps on the phone. So if I go into the app menu, I can then go on the calendar, and it brings me up a list of a very easy and simple to use calendar here. I can click on a list, which will show me a list of all events happening. I can click on days, and it will give lists of days. I can then change through using the buttons either side, or I can look by month. And then I can tap today, and it will show me what's happening today. But I haven't set anything up yet, so nothing will show. Let's have a look at the browser here, if I turn on Wi-Fi quickly. As you can see, it's very smooth scrolling down, and I'm going to go onto a website. So let's see how quick it loads up our website. It doesn't have flash on this device yet, so our website is not showing up at this very moment in time. However, I will load up another website. Let's try YouTube. It brings up the mobile site, which is quite easy to use, and at the bottom we can then click on desktop to go on to the normal version of the site. I'm just going to make it landscape to make it easier to use. As you see, there's a very nice transition, similar to that of the iPhone. And the pinch to zoom on this device seems to be the smoothest I've ever seen. It's smoother than Android and just as smooth as the iPhone. As you can see, it's just very, very smooth. So let's see what happens if I try playing a video here. It just comes up with the Adobe Flash Player warning. It doesn't open its own YouTube client, which is a bit disappointing, but it's expected. However, this device does have its own YouTube client. But as you can see, it only takes you to the mobile site. It's also the same with this disappointing BBC iPlayer app. If I open the widgets and put a BBC iPlayer widget there, you'd expect that you'd get a nice app that's easy to use and you'd be able to watch iPlayer programs, but by tapping on it, it just opens the desktop version of the site, and because this device doesn't have Flash, you can't play any of the programs that have been on the BBC lately, so that seems like a complete waste of time. So now let's have a look at the tech specs of this phone. The phone features a 3.3-inch WVGA Super AMOLED display, which dominates the front of the screen. It has a front-facing VGA camera here. The speaker is here, which seems to be very loud and quite clear. You have the call button here, the main button which takes you to the app menu here, and the end call button here. On the top we have a 3.5mm headphone jack and a standard micro USB adapter here. On the back we have this diamond shaped camera with the diamond shaped LED flash, which seems to be very bright. The bulk of the phone is made out of high quality metal, which feels really good in the hand. On the right hand side we have the unlock button and the dedicated camera button, and on the left we have a volume rocker. And instead of pulling the battery cover off, you just have a nice button which allows you to take it off here. The battery is 1500 mAh, which will give you decent battery life compared to other smartphones. The phone has the same 1 GHz processor, Hummingbird processor, made by Samsung themselves, that you'll find in the Galaxy S, and it just makes things seem really snappy and smooth. The device has a pretty disappointing 128 megabytes of RAM, which means it's pretty handy to tap and hold this middle button, which brings up a task manager, so I can end certain tasks to free up RAM. So they're the basic tech specs of this phone. The CPU processor is definitely impressive, but the RAM is a bit of a letdown really. But altogether the tech specs of this phone are pretty decent, and the 3.3-inch Super AMOLED display brings colours alive. Right, we'll just have a look at the Daily Briefings app on this phone. It basically gives you weather, news and feeds based on your location for the day. So here I have weather for my location, Here I have finance for Yahoo. It's just fetching something. Here we have some news, which I believe is scrollable. Yep. Scroll down and see all the news that's happening today. And here's my schedule, but I don't have anything set up here. It also has the basic Facebook and Twitter apps, also an IM, instant messaging account, and the media browser, which seems to be fairly useful. If I take a photo by holding the camera button, I'm just going to take a photo here. And then, if I go into the media browser, you see the nice animation is used throughout the operating system. I can zoom in with pinch to zoom and double tapping, and I can go through all my pictures. Seems to be a really good device for media. It can, I believe it can record HD video. I'll just go into the settings here. So I'm in the camcorder mode. Yeah, you can do 720p HD video. And I'll just show you a clip of that. I'll just record it here, and I'll put it on the review.
Half price sale now on.
Good morning, San Francisco. It's 7 a.m. and it's a beautiful morning. So come on, what's stopping you? Fix yourself a good old breakfast. Because I'm telling you, today is going to be a great day.
And at the Curry's sale, save £140 on this Indesit 1400 spin washing machine. 7 kilo capacity, only $229. The Curry's sale is now on.
Alright guys, look out for a Nokia N8 review and the new Orange San Francisco review. We'll be reviewing both of them soon in 720p or 1080p video. Thanks.